Is it working? Can you tell?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, as I was saying, because you have this Jupiter in Pisces, and Jupiter is, career area, good luck, good fortune overall, and it's 26 degrees Pisces, which is very fortunate for anything that's creating an illusion. So film creates an illusion. So anything you want to do in the film industry.
I just wrote a novella last month.
Okay, so
First time I've done anything like that.
Okay, it's interesting because you mentioned right away the Saturn opposite Jupiter, and your Saturn's in Virgo, which is absolutely perfect for writing.
Oh, okay.
And then your Saturn's in the fourth house in your home life, so you have that sense of being solitary at home and being able to knuckle down and get it done. So that's that discipline. The novella is what, 20,000 or how many?
It's a small novel. I kind of like the word novella better than the word novel anyway. So I'm
but I think
there's
they have a specific word.
I looked it up online and I couldn't find any. It kind of generally talked about it, but there isn't a specific limit. At least where I searched.
Oh, okay. Because I was looking for that too. Because I wasn't writing quite a novel, but I wanted to know. And I thought it was 20,000 words, but maybe not.
Oh, you might be right. I just didn't find that.
But that's.
Creative Writing Department and English Department had they encouraged people to take part in the
November.
That November thing.
Yeah.
So that's what got me started.
Okay. And so, maybe even a screenplay from there, from that novella into a screenplay, because then that would bring in this element of.
I thought about the possibility, but it's very edgy, and I'm sure it would confront opposition to get it that way. I'm not going to publish it because that would just invite a firestorm. So I'm just giving it to friends and hoping people give me some constructive feedback and all. Okay. I'm saying right now that it's a revised rough draft, but it feels like it's done. But so did the other one, not as much, but when I had the original rough draft, and I got some feedback that I made a whole bunch of changes to it and drastically improved it.
Okay. The Saturn becomes very important for you because your Sun, it appears that it's in the 10th house, which is ruled by Saturn. It's normally a Capricorn house, even though it's Aries.
Okay.
But you have a lot of cardinal stuff going on. Sun, Moon, Mars, and then, that's always good for, and the Cancer rising too. It's very tenacious. It's very good for sticking to something, and cardinal signs get things started. They're not usually known to build on it, but Cancer is very tenacious, so you have that on your...
I thought I had Sagittarius rising, no?
Really? Are you 10?
PM, not AM.
No, okay, so you're right. She sent me AM.
Oh, okay.
So, all right, so then this becomes completely...
Right.
Okay. So is this not... If this becomes the first house, these are actually fourth house planets. So this is what it really looks like.
Okay.
So, yeah, sorry about that. She put AM in her email, so maybe
it's easy to make mistakes.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of creativity there. If this is, and I don't know, do you know how many degrees Sag rising you have? Okay. So this could possibly be, this possibly could be the fifth house. So the fifth house is your house of creativity. It's everybody's house of creativity.
Okay.
So if you have the Sun there, which is the normal ruler of the fifth house, because it's a Leo house, that's a lot of expression. And then you have all these cardinal planets that are in Aries. A lot of energy is generated in that fifth house.
A couple of them anyway. This one's in Taurus.
Oh, yeah. What do you think? Jupiter and Pisces. That's Jupiter and Pisces.
Oh, Pisces, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, at least you do have
here's
these
my
three.
Taurus ones over here.
Yeah. Venus, you have, what is that? Is it? Oh yeah, okay. See how the thing didn't come up, that little curved part didn't come up. But yeah, you do have Sun, Moon, and Mars, and Mars is your energy planet. So That's a lot of, and I'm not 100% that's the fifth house, but it looks like, it doesn't look like it's in the sixth, so I would say it's in the fifth house. So that is a lot of creativity. So I don't know if that's something new to you, the writing.
Yes.
And, oh, okay. That looks like something that should have motivated you earlier, or
It's been sitting there for many, many years, decades even, but I couldn't get it out.
I wonder if you said you just took part in the November novel. Okay, Mars was in Virgo through November.
We had our initial meeting on the 27th of October, and I looked at that website, the Nomo, Remo, but I didn't. You had to sign in, have another password you have to remember, and that. So I just looked at it and then went on my own.
I'm just trying to see if there's anything. I mean, this just seems like it's such a strong point in your chart down here in this fifth house area, and then the sixth is the house that rules work, what you do every day, your habits, and also has to do with, because it's a Virgo house, it also has to do with discipline and getting things done, duties and obligations. So it's good that you have all of this, like you have all the creativity, but then you have the ability, to knuckle down with these Taurus planets. Because that's what makes you stick to something. This is what generates the ideas and the feeling that you want to do something, accomplish something, but this helps you accomplish it. So this is actually pretty favorable here.
I've heard that Venus is at home in Taurus too.
Yes, that's a natural ruler. I think you have, and Jupiter it used to be a co-ruler of Pisces, but now, Jupiter's now connected to Sagittarius, but it used to be co-ruler, so that's still kind of considered a benefit. All of a sudden I forgot. But when the planet appears in the sign it naturally rules, like you said, the Venus and Taurus, and the Mars and Aries too.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what the nodes are.
Okay, the North Node is the most difficult challenges you face in this lifetime because of incomplete karma. Yeah. Okay. The South Node is just the opposite. It's where it's the easiest for you. So North Node in Pisces, and which would put South Node in Virgo. So the most difficult this time around has more to do with spirituality and things that are ethereal and more on a non-material plane, which the easiest thing for you to do because you came in with it was the Virgo stuff. They don't show, but it's going to be exactly opposite. So it's going to be 18 degrees South Node in Virgo. Because it's going to be exactly the opposite of the North Node.
Okay.
So that should probably fall in your 8th house, I'm thinking. It's really hard to deal with this chart because you can see it doesn't have the degrees on the house cusp, which would tell you where the planets actually fall, which house they fall in. So you said that this is all new for you, the writing.
Writing was always so hard before, and now it's suddenly easy. I don't know what happened. I always blamed it on that opposition. I thought, well, that was the source of my problem. That opposition was holding me back. But when we last met, I was beginning to percolate, but I've continued to wake up this year, the whole year, and now things that used to be hard are easy. I found out on the 10th of January that being 60 or over, I could take 3 classes at UH, and so I got all excited about that. I ran down them as soon as they opened on Monday morning, and went through all the classes, and one stood out. It was History of Peace Movements. so I decided, oh, I'm going to start with that. I thought about an astronomy class too, but I said, oh, I'll just do one and focus on that. Well, I tried to contact the instructor to get permission to join the class because, we're just auditing it and you have to get permission because the regular students have first, they're paid students or get first access and all. And I found out it was the president's half-sister, Maya, who was teaching the class.
Oh, okay.
Wow. So I joined the class and it was wonderful. She and the class helped me get over a lifelong fear of public speaking. And I gave 4 presentations in class and just got all kinds of encouragement. And, it's just been building on that. In spring semester, I got inspired to read all of her recommended books on her syllabus, and so I did that, and there was like 130 of them on there, and I reported on all of them, and as a result of that, the Matsunaga Research Center, who she's part of at UH, asked me to create a database of their library. They used to have one, but a computer virus destroyed it and they didn't have a backup, so they had to start from scratch. And I'm plowing through the library anyway, and I said sure, and so I did that, and now I'm 165 books into that library. And I don't know, it's like I keep trying to find my limits and they fall away,
That's a really good word, because Jupiter is limitless. Yeah, it's very expansive, so you think you've got this much, but then no, it gives you more, and more, and more. And Jupiter also rules higher education. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be formal, you're going to a college, but it doesn't have to be just learning more and more on a higher level. So it looks like, you must be having like a Jupiter return or some transit that's triggering your Jupiter in Pisces.
Something just returned a couple of years ago. What was that?
That was
Uranus?
that's your Saturn return. That
Saturn
was your
return, okay.
second Saturn return.
Okay.
So how did that go? That age 58 is usually what happened.
When I'm 60? When is it?
It happens when you're 58. Usually.
58.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was growing a lot of pot back then. I spent about 10 years just wake and bake. I remember most of it, but I don't remember any specific transition during that time.
Okay. So some people aren't that affected by Saturn returns. Most people are, but some people aren't. It's actually sometimes it's beneficial for them. Definitely, it sounds like you're having something to do with Jupiter. So.
Okay.
I mean, Jupiter's in Virgo, and that is on your Saturn. Yeah, Jupiter is still in Virgo all through December, so, and it will probably be in the next year. I don't have the 2016 calendar yet. But,
that was cool when Venus and Jupiter came together, 1/3 of a degree. And then a few months later, then they're together again, and Mars was up there. I get up before dawn, and I go out and I see it up there in the sky.
Yeah, I don't have next year's calendar, but it looks like, since it's 23 degrees and it's only moving like, 1 degree a month, maybe 2 degrees a month, this will continue for you, that pattern.
Okay. Well, I'm taking 2 classes in spring semester.
Okay.
One with Colleen Hanabusa. I think that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know she taught there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like this transition, this whole new opening is all about education, learning more. And is that how you're feeling?
Well, I'm learning more, but plus I want to try to encourage people to read more peace material, and I'm getting the opportunity to do that. So I'm pretty excited.
And Pisces is also a sign of peace. It's very spiritual. It's the most spiritual sign there is. So when you go through the zodiac, you start with Aries, which your sun is in Aries. That's I am. That's the physical body. That's the ego. By the time you get to the 12th house, you've gone through every part of a person's life, and you come to sometimes they call it the house of garbage, because like everything you brought through those other 11 houses gets dumped in that 12th house. It can also be the house of self-imprisonment, because people tend to be very solitary because they're reflecting and they're becoming very spiritual. So sounds like that's the kind of the cycle. This Jupiter-Saturn opposition that you brought up as soon as you sat down is exactly what you're going through. Applying that, the material side, the discipline side, the actual study side to this very Jupiterian sense, which is expansion, bringing in the globe, bringing in the world. And Jupiter, which used to co-rule Pisces, which your Saturn is in, right? No, your Saturn's in Jupiter is in Pisces. Okay, so that's bringing your. Okay, I see. So,
Saturn's in Virgo.
Yeah, Saturn's in Virgo and Jupiter's in Pisces. So, expansion, the global. You're wanting to do more peace, which has a lot to do with Pisces, because they're on a very spiritual. That sign by itself, if you just take that sign Pisces, they're on a very spiritual plane as opposed to something more material. So that makes absolute sense what you're doing right now. Do you have more questions about your chart, or would you like to do some cards?
I think I'm okay on the chart.
Okay.
Yeah, cards. I'd be interested in doing that. And
Get this out of the way.
I want to talk about other things too.
Sure.
I think I discovered the fountain of youth.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know that sounds kind of chintzy and all, but I think it's for real. The more I investigate it, the more it looks like it.
Wow.
It's called fascination method. Are you familiar with that at all?
No.
It's based on the structural integration work that Dr. Ida Rolf did in the early 20th century. Yeah, Rolfing. But it's stuff you can do to yourself. You don't need to have somebody do deep tissue massage to break up the fascia, which is a network.
Oh yeah, I know fascia.
Like the blood and lymph system. So the fascia also permeates the body, and it's when the fascia get crystallized, or that's what causes the aging, and cancer likes to develop in cells that have become hardened, and it creates a cancer factory in there where it reproduces and all. So you can use it as a roller, and you roll over your soft tissue and stay away from the bones, because you can hurt yourself that way. Rejuvenate yourself. It's incredibly enlivening to do it. It's painful though. So you're kind of reluctant to go into it, but the more I get into the habit of doing it, the easier it is. So I'm pretty excited about that. And the other thing I wanted to ask you about your watermelon sushi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that
we won't
sounds
do that on your
fascinating.
time. Well, after we're done, I'll tell you about it. But go ahead and shuffle some cards and come up with a question that you want to look at specifically.
I don't remember. What do I do next? 3 piles?
Whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Go ahead. Put them together. You put them together however you want. It's your reading. So, this is a specific question that you have, right?
Well, it has to do with loneliness. I'd like to share my life with a female, and this doesn't seem to be happening in this part of my life. So I want to get some guidance about that.
Do you have children?
No.
No.
I had 2 pregnancies. One was aborted and one had a miscarriage.
So
And
interesting.
neither one was intentional. And when I was married, my wife and I decided we didn't want to have children.
No, it's interesting because it shows a man with 2 children. So.
Oh. Okay, yeah. Potentially, anyway.
Yeah, it is a potential that could be that, you meet somebody and they have 2 children, and, maybe you assume the duties of,
Well, that
they don't
too.
have to be little kids, they can be adult children or whatever. But it definitely looks like somebody with 2 children. It looks like the relationship, are we in the way? The relationship has to do with, it doesn't start out like, the regular boy, girl, oh, I'm so attractive, whatever. It looks like it starts something where you are, with this Jupiter in Pisces, very spiritual, very high energy. I don't know what other activities you get involved with, like, on that level, like psychic fairs, or, people that are in that arena, or people doing something like that, like you were talking about the role thing, maybe it's somebody that you meet through that kind of association.
I love to sing.
You love to sing.
Yeah. I rediscovered my voice.
Okay. Yeah, it looks more like it's on the level of some of the things that you're doing on a higher level, higher spiritual plane. So I would look around, like you go to, you read a lot, you go to bookstores, that kind of thing. Maybe it's a metaphysical bookstore.
I've been involved with Revolution Books.
Oh,
People
have you?
There,
Oh, yeah.
I helped them move that.
So you know Carolyn and
Yeah.
those guys. Okay.
Carolyn's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah. So yeah, this sense that you're having now, that you want this partner, it already began. Like it began a couple months ago or something, and your thinking has changed. I don't know, maybe is it something new that you're thinking about, or had you thought about it before?
Well, I think we talked about it a little bit last year, but things really didn't gel much this year.
But in the past, you weren't thinking about relationships. You were more
I think about it every day.
Oh, but I mean to the degree that you really, because right now it feels like this is really what you want.
Maybe it's more so now.
So it looks like the beginning of it was maybe a couple months ago where something happened. I don't know, maybe did you meet somebody then, or you kind of saw other relationships and you thought, well, maybe that's what I want, or...
I have a few women in my life, but nothing that's looks like it's going to blossom into a long-term, mutually beneficial relationship.
I don't think it's anybody you already know, because this shows somebody new coming, but it looks very powerful. It looks very, very much on a spiritual level.
Good.
And I do believe that there's children involved.
Okay.
That person has 2 children. So, do you want to know more about that person, or you want to look at something else? It's up to you. It's your reading. Looking at this moon opposite Neptune.
Oh yeah, that's the other opposition.
Yeah, so it's good that Neptune's in Libra and Moon's in Aries, because that gives you. If it was the other way around, it might be a little more dangerous in terms of, because the Moon is your emotions, and Aries is pretty strong about self-preservation.
I think I was born on a new moon day, or real close to it.
Oh, okay. But Neptune, creates that illusion with partnerships. So, so sometimes you're thinking this, you and that partner are on the same page, and you're on complete opposite pages because of this opposition. The emotions are not seen clearly about the partnership.
Okay.
Yeah, but because I think the Aries is more strongly placed in the Moon than Libra. Because Moon in Libra tends to always want harmony
Right.
at any cost, whereas the moon in Aries is a little more self-preservation, self-preserving, that you can pull yourself out of bad situations when it comes to a partnership. In any kind of partnership, it doesn't have to be romance. It can be business or a working situation.
I like to think of myself as a romantic, but also I have a very practical side. So some kind of blend of the two.
Yeah, so Venus and Taurus, which can be very sensual and romantic in a sense, but very, very pragmatic.
Okay.
It will stop itself before it does anything too crazy.
Yeah, that sounds
I
like
love
me.
you. Here, have my house. No, that would not happen.
Okay.
Venus and Taurus. And also, have you explored any visual art?
Visual arts.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I like going to museums and contemplating visual arts. Yesterday, the Bishop Museum was free, and I went there, and they had an exhibition on wearable art. And I filmed that. I'm going to put that up on my YouTube channel.
Oh, so you are filming too.
Yeah,
So
I got
more.
like 50 videos up on YouTube.
Oh, okay. So that's more Pisces stuff
Okay.
too. Yeah, Neptune Pisces. But you yourself have not done anything, because that Venus and Taurus is really good for that, creating art. But you prefer it in photographs and film.
Well, ever since I was young, I tried to get into arts and crafts like macrame and that, but and I did pencil portraits for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't that good at it. I was only mediocre, and I didn't want to be just mediocre. So I want to find something I'm good at.
Okay.
Oh, my question is about death. I'm curious about death because things are happening so much right now. It almost seems like I must be coming to the finish line or something, or into some kind of transition. And also, I have a little bit of fear of, well, like I mentioned about my novella being very edgy, is I kind of expect to be murdered. That's how I expect to go. It's just it's my expectation. I don't know what to say about that.
You feel like you have some enemies, or?
Oh, potentially, yeah.
Open enemies is usually Mars and Aries, and then hidden enemies is usually Pluto, Scorpio.
Okay.
And you do have that North Node in the 8th house, but you've got Virgo there. Yeah, that's really interesting. I would have to get a really good chart to see what is happening in that 8th house, because the 8th house is where, see, because I can't tell exactly the house cusp here, the 8th house is your house of death.
Okay.
Here it looks like it might be Cancer, but there's nothing there. But then you have this Uranus in Cancer, which is usually, Uranus is the planet of unexpected, anything that's unexpected, anything that's shocking or, just a surprise.
I don't dread death. I'm just curious about it. I figured since, we have the opportunity here that I would just ask about it. I don't spend a lot of time worrying about it.
Here I don't see anything like that.
Okay.
I do see this concern or worry, but this card has a lot to do with vacillation and thinking one thing and then changing your mind and thinking something else.
Okay.
And here on an emotional level, it actually looks like a beautiful, like you said, you're okay with it, like, because it looks like your beliefs go hand in hand, with your emotions, so that there really is no fear, that you feel like leaving this plane is not to be dreaded, like it's something going to be very beautiful.
I feel like I've lived a full life. I've had a whole great lot of fun, especially recently. And things like my doctors, he wants me to get colonoscopies and stuff, and worries about getting cancer. I said, if I get cancer, it's my time to go. I'll just go. Don't need to try to preserve my life and live a life in pain and all that. I don't need that. I'm ready for whatever else is out there. But I don't want to leave just yet. I'm not going to commit suicide or anything.
Yeah.
I'm ready for anything.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
And you are ready. I mean, it looks like, I mean, in terms of being prepared, you're not ready to go right now, but you're at least prepared for the inevitable. So that, you're like, way ahead of everybody else, because people still are so attached.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it hard to move forward. And it does look like you have a big, expansive thing in front of you when you do go, because it just looks like the opening. You're already so open that the doors just all open for you, that it's not going to be anything. I'm so tied to this place I can't leave, and then it causes chaos. But right now it looks like you're.
What's this duplicity? I'm not familiar with that card.
Oh yeah, these are all different Egyptian cards.
Egyptian ones,
so they only have the first 10 cards are the major arcana.
Okay.
I mean, first 22 cards, and then everything else is something else. But yeah, so when you're asking this question, it's like you kind of want to know, but you don't kind of want to know, and you kind of change your mind. Like right now, you feel very strongly that you're prepared, and it's a journey, and I know there's going to be something even. Because quite frankly, there is a lot of chaos and a lot of pain and suffering on this plane. But it looks like you already see that beyond that, this is very happy. This is very, very extremely happy. And then, like I said, beyond that, see how you're being carried. You're the king. So beyond that, it's very expansive. It's very pleasurable. It's very. It's like nirvana. Yeah, it's like nirvana. So the work is in here right now, and I think also because you're saying some of the things you're saying are things that are connected to the beginning of something. You're looking for a partner. You're finishing, doing all these things in school, writing, you're completing projects, you're making things happen. So it's really not a time to go. You still have a lot of stuff to do. So that's probably, your mind is already prepared. Like, go, fine. But the other part of you still has so many projects to complete. And, the relationship is one of them. That is a project because, to learn what it is. I mean, I don't know how many relationships you've already had in your life, but
Plenty.
Plenty. But then there's got to be
only
that.
one marriage though, and then almost all the other ones are short term, no real long term except my marriage.
So but there's got to be in this space now, because every time there's a relationship, you're at a different level, right? You're at a different level of your journey or your life, and you haven't had that partner at this level yet. So that's also a project. So that, and I think a lot of the creative stuff you're doing, those are projects that need to be completed too. That's for your own growth. That's your own spiritual growth. That doesn't have anything to do with anything else but your spiritual growth to complete those projects before you go here. This happiness, clouds.
Well, that's good news. I was a little bit concerned that, I wouldn't be able to finish these projects I'm working on. It sounds like, that there'll be plenty of time, so.
Yeah.
Because I've been rush, and
Get up with that.
keep trying to do more and more every day, more.
What, so have you had some, dreams or any sense of premonition that would make you think that it's homicide or?
No, I've only recently started having lucid dreams. For many years during my cannabis abuse, I never remembered my dreams. All that decades now, remembering the dreams.
Interesting.
And now, frequently I dream, I remember a couple dreams, and I don't sleep well. I wake up several times during the night, but I compensate for it. I read or work on puzzles when I wake up, and that helps me go back to sleep and keeps me from worrying, because if I just laying awake with nothing to do, my mind wants to worry. During the day, it's not a problem because I just keep myself going. But at night, I can't sleep. I worry about worrying. But no, haven't had any premonitions. It just seems logical to me that because I've challenged all my limits, that I'm almost tempting fate. I'm asking for it, you know. So that's my logical conclusion. It's coming, and I got to be prepared. I don't know. You know, I walk around Honolulu, and out of the blue, people yell at me. And I, what did I do to get that? You know, and that's like you thinking, well, this is some of it coming back at you. And I've fortunately been able to avoid confrontations. You know, I just slip away and try not to disturb things. I don't confront people who confront me. I had enough martial arts training where I didn't know how to get out of situations. But anything can happen.
That attraction, public, being in public and attracting that. And you have Sagittarius rising, which is a fire sign, which is strong. It's not.
I like being triple fire.
Yeah.
Sun, moon, and moon.
So you can imagine if people were those three elements of their sun, moon, and rising, and if we were all that, then that's what you would see, right?
Yeah, the only other triple fire I know about is Mick Jagger. He's triple Leo, I think.
Oh, is he?
That's what I've heard.
Oh. And then the other guy is a Sag. Keith Richards is a Sag.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fire is attracted to fire. Yeah. So maybe that's what, these strangers, these people, the public, feel that fire, that passion and burning and trying to accomplish all these things. It can be misinterpreted as aggressiveness or, it's just the energy coming out. So, but it only happens here, or does it happen in other places too?
Well, then too, I'm a fervent atheist. I've explored all the major religions and didn't find the truth there. And so atheism makes a whole lot more sense to me, but not negatively. It's not this I hate God kind of thing, There's no evidence of a supreme being, Much as people talk about, the clock, the watchmaker doesn't, the clockmaker doesn't the clock doesn't appear out of anywhere. It has to be a clockmaker. Well, I don't know about that.
So would you consider yourself more atheist or agnostic?
No, definitely atheist.
Oh, okay.
I was agnostic for a while, but I'm pretty sure there's nothing.
There's nothing,
yeah.
But then it looks like you're so happy at release, like there's so much joy in your heart.
I don't know how to explain that.
Interesting. I'm just going back to, you said that, when you're in public and it's definitely that's the moon, because the moon rules the public and it's in Aries, so maybe some of that energy isn't so much what you think it is. It's just you're always going to attract very aggressive, assertive stuff to you because it's Aries. So not so much I'm looking for a fight, but it's just the energy is so fiery and so demanding in a way that people can't ignore that. So people who have something that would either oppose or square that's who's coming at you, because that's what they're feeling, that energy to.
It always seems like it's people that have mental illness problems. I sympathize for them, but I can't help them out.
Yeah, that's also the Pisces too. You have Jupiter in Pisces. I don't, Jupiter's not so much the public, but because Pisces does rule the 12th house, and that a lot of times that's mental illness, that's prisoners, and that's drug addicts, alcoholics. That's all the 12th house stuff. The house of garbage, so the garbage is drawn to you.
Okay.
And sometimes that's also a subconscious sense of you have some healing abilities. They want to come to you because maybe you feel like the most stable, concrete person there that could just reach out and heal them. So that's why, and that's Pisces. Pisces is a very healing energy. They bring in the garbage because they can heal it.
Well, that makes a whole lot more sense than what my psychiatrist told me when I brought up the same situation as them. Why are these people all yelling at me? And he assumes that I'm doing something to stimulate them, but I don't. I'm just being me, and I don't, make hostile eye contact with people or anything like that. Sometimes I'm on a bus and it's too crowded. I get off the bus because I just,
Too much.
Yeah.
Because you're picking up all that stuff. Yeah, and I think mental illness, a lot of times, those people really are on another plane. And it is very intuitive and very feeling, so that's what they feel. They're not like a quote-unquote normal person that can analyze something and come up with some thought or idea or,
Yeah, and I'm sure other people have it happen to them too, but all the time, or not all the time, but so often that it's more than coincidentally, statistically distributed.
Yeah.
It just happens to me more than anybody else for some reason.
Well, I have Neptune on the ascendant, and that happens to me, but I get the neighbors. I get the craziest neighbor that doesn't bother anybody else, but comes straight to me, and one woman smashed my windows with a hammer.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she's schizophrenic. But how come she didn't go to the other 450 units? She comes to mine, so it's, I really believe it's that they feel that healing energy, that potential that you have, and come fix me, and
That's interesting. I'll think about that.
Yeah, but we still have time. You can ask more questions.
Sure. How are we doing on time?
Yeah, we got about 15 more minutes.
Okay. My brother and sister-in-law came to visit